on that day, I woke up at around 6 a.m. because I wanted to go for a run. I ran a half marathon and now decided I'm going to try to do the marathon, the full marathon. So I said, okay, I will wake up early in the morning and I'll run 17 kilometers. So I woke up and I started to arrange myself. And by 6:15, I opened the door and I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm going for a run, for the run. And then I came back because I forgot my headphones. So I came back, and by 6:29, 6:30, the alarm started. As I told you before, we are resident of the Gaza envelope, so we're used to waking up to alarms, but nothing on this scale. I mean, the number of the lunches was so overwhelming that we quickly realized that it's going to be something else. So we rushed to our safe room, that our children all were already sleeping there. So we just waited for instruction for the emergency response team, from the army, from the consul, from someone, but no message came. And I remember those minutes because the first minutes were the scariest minutes I think that we've had, because basically we used to get messages right on start, and without getting any messages, then we understand and realize that something bad is going to happen, because there's no way that no one sends you anything, that no one's giving you an alarm of something. And I think half an hour or an hour later, we started to hearing the gunshot. And the gunfire, we are living, our kibbutz is really close to the Sufa base. We have kibbutz Sufa and we have Sufa base where the army is. So I remember telling to Adam, like, so naive, wow, it's so funny that we can hear the gunfire from Sufa base. And then he looked at me and he said, it's not, it's not from Sufa. It's not our soldiers' gunfires. Israeli soldiers are not allowed to use automatically weapon. And the sound that we heard was pak, 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 pak. And Adam knew immediately after being in the army that it's not something that Israeli soldiers use. And he told me, this one is a Kalashnikov. It's not something that we use. So I think that in that seconds, Adam first of all realized that we have terrorists in the kibbutz. So Adam is an amputee. He lost his leg after the army. And when the alarm started, he just jumped without his leg, because he used to sleep without his leg, from the bed to the safe room. But after knowing what is going to happen, so he just crawled back to the room, took his leg, put it on, and brought a knife from the kitchen. We also just managed to bring one bottle and two buns that we had on the kitchen. And then he immediately rushed back into the safe room and said, listen, we have a terrorist in the kibbutz. I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. We got no messages, nothing, but something bad is going to happen. And for all these hours, we continued hearing the gunfires right close to our window, to our house. And we still didn't know anything. And I remember around 10 a.m. in the morning, I messaged a friend of mine, which is an officer in Sayeret Matkal, and I asked him what's happening, because every time there used to be alarms, he just helped me and said, okay, it's going to be something, you should go and take your children elsewhere. So I text him what is happening. I think we have terrorists in the kibbutz, because I didn't know nothing. We had no connection, we had no reception, we didn't know nothing. What's going on in Be'eri, what's going on in Iroz, nothing. So I just text him, and I remember him replying in this word. He told me, we're now on the way to Be'eri. I am so sorry, but I have nothing else to say to you except to hold the door tight. And I remember just reading it, and I just fell on the ground crying, because if he told me something like that, I mean, we're in trouble. So me and Adam just doing turns holding the door, because we didn't know what's going to happen. And then after 10 minutes, I think, a lot of messages in our WhatsApp, the kibbutz WhatsApp, started. we have terrorists in our house. They hear, and we didn't know even what are they talking about. What do you mean they hear? I mean, the army told us maybe a terrorist can come, but it always was one or two or three, nothing more than that. But then a lot of families started to write in the WhatsApp group, they hear, please help us, they hear. And I remember that we didn't know at that time what is happening. And some of the kibbutz member wrote, like in Hebrew, he said Hatzilu, which means, I think that in Hebrew, the meaning is much more than help. And he said Hatzilu, and then a lot of gibberish words, and that's it. The connection was, we don't have any connection with him. And after 5 minutes, Adam parents starting to write, help us, they hear, they're trying to open our safe room, we can hear them. And Adam's parents and our house is like maybe 100 meters, something that you can walk and go to them. But we couldn't do anything, we were locked, we were in our safe room, they were in their safe room, we could not allow to go out. And we were crying, the kids were crying, everyone was crying. I remember them writing messages of goodbye messages. We love you, we love you, we're so sorry, we love you, and help us, we don't know what to do. And all that time, during all that time, the terrorists were in their house for, I think, maybe 3 hours. They were just coming and going, and trying as much as they can to open the door. But they were so strong and resilient, so that the terrorists could not open it. And I remember Adam was I think he was devastated, because the knowing that your parents are going to be dead and you can't do anything about it. After 3 hours, the soldiers came straight into their house and saved them before they came to all the other houses. And after an hour, which we were hiding in the bed, underneath the bed, covering ourselves in the dark. We didn't turn on the air condition or any fan, nothing, or the light, because we were afraid that if we would turn it, that they will know, they can hear us. And I think after 6 hours in the shelter, so my middle son, he fainted, and I didn't have anything to give him in spite of his pee, because we didn't have any water or food in the safe room. And then we started hearing them coming to our house. We started hearing them underneath our window, and we heard them screaming. We heard the gunfires, and I remember Adam took all of us together and just hugged us, and hugged the children. Me and Adam were just like hugging them like that. And then he told them, listen, kids, in a few moments, really bad people are going to open the door, and they try to do really bad things to me or to Ima. And we will try to protect you as much as we can, but you have to be brave, and you have to be strong, and you have to remember that we love you, and just try and hide whenever you can underneath the bed. We didn't have nothing in the safe room, nothing except for 3 beds. And I remember just waiting. We just waited for them to enter the house and come in. And after 2 minutes, that will last forever, we just heard them continue walking underneath our window and continue to the other house. On our neighbor's house, they shot gunfires on the safe room, and they just moved and passed our house. And after 14 hours, long 14 hours, the army arrived and evacuated us to the children's house, like in the kibbutz, kindergartens of the kibbutz. And there, among with our entire community, we began to hear about all the horrors and the abductions and all of our dead people from the kibbutz. I remember that it was written in the kibbutz WhatsApp group, the soldiers are here, and the reaction were, how can we know if they're there? How can we know if they're for real? So one of the ladies in the kibbutz, She told me that when the soldier knocked on her door, she told him, I don't believe you. Give me your ID number. So he just gave her the number. And she said, I still don't believe you. Sing me a song of Chava Alberstein, which is a really famous singer, but she's old one. So the soldier told her, I don't know any of Chava Alberstein's songs. So she told him, okay, so Hanan Ben Ari, which is a younger singer in Israel. And then he sang a song to her, so she opened the door. And then she wrote in the kibbutz, remember, they are for real. This is our soldiers. The moment that we knew that the army has entered the kibbutz, we felt safe. I mean, I knew for sure that I can open the mamad, the safe room, and I can bring water for the kids because we didn't have water for so long time. And the minute they were there, even though they didn't come to our house yet, but the minute that it was written that the army is in the kibbutz, I knew that I can open the shelter, the safe room door, and can bring food or water for my kids. I mean, I think that was the most relief thing that happened, because I think that the what I really wanted just to bring them water, because it was so hot inside and so suffocated inside, and we couldn't breathe. We really couldn't breathe, and I just wanted to go outside to bring them the water, and came back and shut the door. And after it, when we heard them, when we saw them, it was like we really felt safe. After 2 days staying in the kindergartens, because we still had terrorists inside the kibbutz, that the army was bravely fought them. After 2 days, we were evacuated to Eilat, and and we began our new life as a refugees, as after grieving and being in a continuous shiva. And I think only then we knew what happened to all of our friends, all of our really best friends, because living in our council, in the moatza, in the region, is a really small one. You happen to know everyone. And me, during my work, I happen to know a lot of kids, a lot of people from our region. And then we started hearing about all that happened. And I think that there's nothing that can reflect the feeling that we felt during those days. And the crying, the amount of crying that we had, it's enormous. And living here now, I know that we were actually saved, and we had such a luck to end as we ended, because things could have been so much worse. My oldest 10, the second one, he's 8, and the little one is 6. And my middle one is also, he's diagnosed with PTSD ever since he was 5.5. I mean, he's the youngest child that being diagnosed in our council with PTSD, because we used to go to therapy, to the center of the therapy in Israel, ever since he was 3 years old. And his beloved therapist was killed during the 7th, Lilach, from Be'eri. And I remember him telling me right after we got from the safe room, really, I mean, I think it was on the same day, he told me, Ima, right, that everything is that's finished, and we coming back to the kibbutz. So I'm going to meet Lilach, and she's going to talk with me about everything that happened. And only after we will know that she was murdered in her own house in Be'eri. The kibbutz is much more than a place that you live in. It's a community. It's something that is inside of you. I mean, my children all the time keep saying how they want to go back to the kibbutz, because they remember all the good things that they used to have in the kibbutz. We don't live in the kibbutz because of, I don't know, a messiah ideology or something. We live in a kibbutz because we love to be close to the ground, because we're simple people, because we like to go to the fields and barefoot and run in the grass, and we love the simple life. But as more than I speak about it, I understand that what we've been through is like a tattoo, because I can hide it, we can conceal it, we can not talk about it, but it will always be there. We came here on the 1st of December. So it was a frost in Texas. So we had to stay at home. And we just played hide and seek in home. And the kids were just hiding inside the closet here in the house. And I remember my middle son, the one with the PTSD, told my older one, he just told him like in the middle of the game, wow, think about that. If we had this house in Israel, we could have had so many places to hide from the terrorists. And 2 days ago, my kid, I just peeked out of the window because I wanted to see if my husband is there. And she told me, she's 6. She told me, Ima, can you not do like this from the window? And I told her, why, Kitty? She told me, because it reminds me how you used to look from the window in the safe room and to see if you see the terrorists. And when you saw them, you told us to hide, and you and Dad said us all the things that they're going to come. I think that they will come again, and it never ends. It never ends. And on Friday, the teacher calls me in tears. She told me, Hila, listen, our fire alarm broke down today, and it was a little bit of maybe 2 seconds of alarm, and all the kids in the class were just raising up their heads and saying, what's going on? Your kid, your child, hide under the table, covered his ears, and start crying. And she was crying. The teacher was crying. She told me, I know everything that you've been through, but I've never thought that I would witness to this. I've never thought that I would see it like that. So I know that we want to go back to the kibbutz, but I don't know if not right now it's the right time for them to go back. I have a WhatsApp group with another friend from Tzelim and another friend from Be'eri. And she's a divorced one. And I remember that we wrote to her, what's up? What's going on? I think that we have terrorists in our kibbutz. You have also? Have you found any hot looking guy terrorist? Because we've always laughed about it. And she wrote me, you don't know what's going on here. All the houses are burned. It's a hell. It's a hell. This is what she wrote me. And I remember just reading this message, and I thought, oh my God, I mean, it's more than one or two terrorists, because I've never thought of the situation that thousands of terrorists are controlling all the Gaza envelope. I've never thought about it. And when we heard the terrorists in our kibbutz, we thought maybe it's one or two or three or four. And when we heard it's on Be'eri also, we thought it's one or two or three or four. Never, never what happened. And only after we will know that her daughter was kidnapped to Gaza and her child was dead in the safe room. And after the soldier evacuated us, so I called my friend from Tzelim. I called her and I told her, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what happened to me. And she said, oh, Hila, I'm so sorry. I was so busy helping the kids from the party. They arrived to our kibbutz and we helped them. And I told her, what party are you talking about? What kids are more important than me? I mean, I didn't even know what happened. And I think that the only time that we realized what really happened was in Eilat, in the hotel, when a lot of friends from Niroz and from all the other kibbutzim, and we met them, and then we started to hear all the atrocities that happened to them and to our kibbutz, because only then we saw that we have a lot of missing people. Now that we know that our dad were abducted or being hostages in Gaza, I think that even now it's not even sank through me. Learning from our children, because our children have gone a lot ever since the 7th. And we, as an adult, I mean, I remember myself for 2 months, I was like a zombie. I was crying for everything. I would just go and cry. I would just stare at you and cry. I was crying so much because I thought that, I mean, I saw the death in front of my eyes. But the kids, I mean, after one day in the hotel, they were laughing and playing with each other and just running from place to place. And I remember hearing my little one, she told me, "Oh, Fima, it's not fair that some of the girls got Lego and all the other presents." And this girl told her, "Do you know why I got it? Because my dad is dead. So this is why I got it." So she told me, fair that her dad is dead. I mean, the how they light things, and I think that made us look at the bigger picture and to see, okay, we have to be resilient for our kids because they've been so through a lot. We were taking from our beds, we were put in another city without our things, without anything that we had. And then we took them and moved to the US, something that, living from a kibbutz to America, it's like not 360 degrees, it's like twice, double it. And they go, they play, they laugh, they have friends. And I think looking through their eyes gives you the strength.